Hello, I'm Martin Yelling, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how physical activity can be really good for your mental and physical health, and some of the misconceptions that are commonly associated, particularly with getting started with a physical activity or an exercise routine. Firstly, I've spent the last 25 years or so working in this field, in education, in performance sport, in children's mental health and in behaviour change. And what I've learned is that we all struggle sometimes. We all struggle keeping going with things, despite starting off with the best intentions. When it doesn't go right, it's easy to get a little bit frustrated, a little bit disappointed, give up and stop trying. That's perfectly normal, and it's okay to feel these things, but it's better that we notice when we do feel these things and that we're able to bounce back and we're able to learn when things are difficult, when things are uncertain, when things are problematic, when perhaps we're experiencing a little adversity. We notice, we have an awareness, and we perhaps even change our behaviour and keep trying. And when we do this, we're showing our resilience. And what I want to do today in Life Lounge is just to talk to you a little bit more about how you can do that, particularly if you're starting off a new physical activity or exercise routine. And I'd like to dispel some myths about getting going with something new, and also in dispelling those myths to help give you some tips and guidance for improving your resilience and using your physical activity and mental health to help you do that. So, our first myth number 1, no pain, no gain. It's got to hurt. Actually, it doesn't, and it shouldn't hurt. In fact, that's why so many people stop when they exercise for the first time. They get started and they think, unless it hurts, it's not helping. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, change takes time, and meaningful change requires patience, application, and context. It really should be gentle and progressive when you start something new. In fact, some recent research into all-cause mortality, death, showed that more and harder exercise isn't necessarily better at protecting you from cardiovascular disease or cancer mortality, and instead, just a little bit low intensity, light, does make a difference. So let's develop some real resilience by starting with something. Something really beats nothing. Just a little is enough. Be gentle on yourself. It's not going to always go right, and that's okay. If you are starting a new exercise plan, be kind to yourself. There you go. That's our first myth. It doesn't need to hurt. No pain, no gain. That's not true at all. Right. Secondly, our second myth is all about self-doubt, and it goes something like this. Myth number 2, you see, I knew I couldn't do it. Now, if you've ever seen that film with Simon Pegg, I think it's called Run, Fat Boy, Run, and it's the one where he tries to learn to be a runner. And of course, for me personally, running's the thing that I do, and it gives me a load of mental and physical health benefits. And Simon Pegg in the film Run, Fat Boy, Run thought he'd try it. So he goes charging off down the street, doing a run at what is too high an intensity. And of course, he gets to the end of his road and he's doubled over and he's sweating, and he says, that's it. I knew I could not do this running thing. This physical activity, it's just not for me. There was so much self-doubt and anxiety about starting something new. And one of the things you can do to develop your resilience is to increase your confidence in your ability. Now that can be problematic sometimes. So confidence in ability can be different things to different people, and often when we're in uncomfortable situations, having a confidence in our ability to do something can feel slightly overwhelming. And so confidence in ability comes from whatever that needs to look like, at whatever level that needs to look like. And one of the ways to get better at that is to understand and increase your self-awareness. So to know what motivates you and what inspires you. So there's no point in trying to hammer in a nail with a jelly spoon. No matter how hard you hit the nail with your jelly spoon, it's simply not going to go in the wall. You won't make any progress. And it's a little bit like that with your mental health, your resilience and your movement. Find something you enjoy. Find the tools that work for the job, something that motivates you, and then gradually do a little of it. You don't need to do everything all at once. Gradually do a little and then keep doing a little. Okay? So gradually do a little and then keep doing a little. And thirdly, our third misconception around using movement and physical activity for mental health is that when you start something new, you've got to set yourself some big, challenging, lofty, ultra ambitious super goal that's going to push you right out of your comfort zone and stretch every boundary that you've got. That's a misconception and a myth too, because you don't need to do that. In fact, that can sometimes make the art of resilience really tricky to maintain, because you're almost setting yourself up for failure there a little bit. Now you've got to set yourself some kind of realistic and challenging goal, but it doesn't need to be so far out there that it seems like a mountain that you just can't climb, all right? Growing in resilience means you do have to spend some time in an uncomfortable place, but at the same time, you've got to wrestle with the tension of that, and you've got to be comfortable with discomfort. And when you can get comfortable with discomfort, slowly and gradually at your level, it gives you more confidence in your ability. So setting your goals at the right level is really important. You simply don't have to set your aspirations too high and too mighty. In fact, a really good thing is to just focus on the process of doing. Your way, your pace, however you choose. Don't set yourself anything specific at all. Just go through the process of actually doing it. And 3 things that can help you here are worrying less about what people might think of you and your own perceptions of yourself and your perceptions of how other people might view you. Also, not pushing yourself too hard too soon, but rather doing small, regular, appropriate and progressive steps wherever you want to be. And finally, and this one's really important for boosting your resilience with getting involved with something physically active, don't beat yourself up when it doesn't go quite as well as you expected, as you planned, as you hoped it would, or as well as you'd like it to. We know we're not perfect, and that's okay. We can work with that.